September 19th, 2025. Okay. Told you yesterday. Oh my God. One thing after another. Agent John, it's coming down to you have to stand up for your case that you created with me. That it was credible, that I never lied. And you had every right to open an attempt and threat a lie case. And you stand up for me. Because who are they actually after? You. The case. See, that's where, in the case, they kept saying it's funny she doesn't know what's going on. They're telling everybody how they framed me, da 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 da, and they're laughing at me. Drugged and told to say stuff, Photoshop showering, but she don't know what's going on. It's so funny. They finally came out that they had set you up to be arrested. Okay? And that was supposed to be so funny. They announced in 18 that if she tells anyone what's going on, what we're doing, everyone's to call her a liar and that she's not credible. And so everything they got gets thrown out. This is their backup plan to get out. Okay? That's what they're doing now. They tell you what they're going to do to you, and then they do it. Okay? They also said that they're going to sue the government for endless amount of money. We're not going to get that out of my case. So where'd you get it? Then what did they say this last month? Why are they calling Agent John a coward? Oh, they want to write it up that he's not even credible. And the whole case was fraud. And everything gets thrown out. And all the drug dealers get released. They said this last month. Now think about this. They're going to say that you had no right around me. Yeah, I even said that years ago. It's going to be wrote up as fraud. You had no right around me. And everyone you got under surveillance, you got them under fraud. And they need to be released. Then what is that going to do? The cartel, where they said they want the cartel to walk. Then the cartel is going to sue the government for endless amount of money. And they want you arrested for opening a fraud case. See, the only thing happens, they call me a liar, not credible. I don't get paid. I didn't get paid anyways. Don't affect me either way. Where yesterday people realized where these people were saying, oh, they were trying to steal from Melissa. Melissa's rich. Why would you steal for her? She makes $95,000 to $145,000. Take me years to make that. She's a documented liar. Her and her kids, they were just mean jokes. Trying to scare me out of my house. All everybody knows, all law enforcement knows, they're mean jokes. So why would you help steal? Stealing is a sin too, and a crime. When they found out, right on Google, you cannot attach informant money. It can't be attached. The only one that can attach is if you get an attorney to get you your informant money and then their compensation only. And that where they were trying to scam people into stealing money from Melissa, that they could never get it for. They couldn't get it for. And no one could ever attach it. And they were scamming everyone into helping out to get the cartel released. That's what they were actually doing. And nobody thought it was funny. Where they thought they were trying to steal from, why would you steal from Melissa? Her And her kids are mean jokes to scare me out of giving up my house, and that's all it was. And documented by the police and the FBI. Nobody got hurt. They're just mean jokes to scare me out of giving up my house. So why would you help somebody just lie and steal from the government? And Agent John, they even told people you opened the case so you could make fun of a rape victim, that you're such a cad. Now, you need to get a backbone. You need to get a backbone. And you need to tell them, my God, listen to the recorded line. Tell them, say, I was scamming these people so I can get them. Act like a call person. But I made sure on a recorded line. What did you say, Agent John? When I told him someone told on me. What did he say? You liar. When I tell them about the guy that threatened to knife me in Giant Eagle, called me a liar. Screamed about a camera above the bench and I didn't know. Told me he tried to kidnap me before. What did you say? What did you say, honey? Oh, come on now. Even if a church person seen him, they would never verify it. I had met with that family in my office, the ones that her father murdered their kid in vehicular homicide. Speeding, ran a stop sign in a semi, killed them both. If he wasn't speeding, he would have stopped. They'd both be alive. It's his fault. We weren't there. Brian had to show up and tell us. How he did it in front of a bunch of church people showing off. Killed her kid. You met with all those church people. And they were trying, what did they confess to you? And they were in your office. They knew I called the FBI. They were in your FBI office. Confessed they were doing what? Trying to kill me. Because Strange made up a lie on me 15 years before that. 15 years. Called me a faker when it was a medication error. Medical malpractice almost killed me when he thought I was following Tim and Katie, his son, with his mistress. Here it was my sister following her husband. Took my kid, pushed him to suicide, made up that lie, made sure I wouldn't come back. So his son would get away with having an adulterous affair. Nobody would find out. It was a cheesy little bitch move. And a pathetic lie that had nothing to do with the Vegas. But what did you say on that recorded line? You may have been acting like a call person, but you hit the key notes. What did you hit? That you had met with that family in your office and all those church people, and you knew they were trying to kill me because Strange made up that lie. That they confessed to you, a federal police officer, they were trying to kill me, where I called the hotline with people threatening my life. And with different attempts, followed him around it by a Facebook friend of a church person. In the attempt to break in, Dave made a mistake. They knew where the security system was. I had documented proof there had been attempts. And I'm labeling more, so where they're in there confessing, it's them trying to kill me to a federal cop. And trying to justify murdering somebody because someone called them a faker. See, that's even a pathetic reason to kill someone. But they confessed to you. And you made sure you got that in the recorded line. I was very credible, never lied. The bastards went in and confessed. And you made sure you put that in the recording. What else did you say? You may have acted like a call person, but you hit the key notes. I don't think they realized what you were doing. You admitted it several times that you met with that family in your office and all those church people, and you knew they were trying to kill me because of Strange's lie. You made fun of me for some guy named Pete I've still never met. Don't know who he is. The dirty doctor scam, not one of mine works for them and they lied. Still don't know who he is either. And how I didn't know, laughing at me, so you acknowledged I didn't know. Made sure that I didn't know if Dave was cheating. Never caught him. Never talked to any other law enforcement on threats in my life. So no one else legally could have been in my house before. Yeah. You break down what you said and how evil you said it, but you hit the keynotes. That it was documented by a federal agent that these people confessed they were trying to kill me. There was real attempts. You had every right to open that threat and attempt to lie case. Bastards confessed. So where those people were down in the Tuscarawas courthouse, saying that office spent thousands of dollars looking into it, couldn't find one bit of evidence. What they do, walk around blind? With their eyes closed? Because even Dixie seen the cartel around me. Maslin. The ones that impersonated the fake FBI handlers. The white-haired guy with his hair part on the side. The bitch that said he was part of Hold Me Down when they bashed in my head. Seen him around me several times. They were at Faith Family Church, bragging they were for Judge Peters, and they were from Florida. The Kingsmen were here from Texas, and then the other cartels where they played a game of who paid for the harassment. Buffalo, New York, Michigan, California. They got surveillance like the 2 FBI agents that remind you of my son Joshy in the Belden office. Look at all the people they hired to hurt her. We can use her for bait. Got thousands. Will be released back into society. You better get a backbone, mister. Your informant never lied. See where the police said we always knew Karen never lied. Why is that? Where I called, afraid for my life that people are threatening them, and there's attacks. A couple of them documented by the police. What happened? The bastards went in there and so justified they thought they could take another life. Because somebody made up a lie on them 15 years before that. So there was attempts and threats, and the killers came in and confessed and tried to justify it. And that they were having me drugged, beaten, raped, and drugged for fake confessions. And what did you want? They're drug dealers. And everyone involved. So you just had to act like an occult person. You better stand up for your informant. For the integrity of the case has to stand. See, that's where this guy in Maslin, they complained about him in 1819 a lot. They said he was some prosecutor there. And yesterday outside Golden Crown, they said Melissa's divorce attorney is involved. Thought it was that prosecutor's office. Thought he could go rogue and go after whoever he wanted. And they told everybody to stay out of it because he can't do this. No, that's obstruction to justice, tampering with a witness. Tampering with evidence and aiding and abetting crimes. See, a prosecutor's office knows they can never go after an informant. Ever. But they talked about him. What is that guy's problem in Maslin? That one guy from the prosecutor's office helping people get away with crimes. What is his problem involving himself in crimes and helping people get away with it? What is his problem? They brought him up yesterday. January 25th, 2019, they'll talk about him to about 4 to 6 in the evening. And repeatedly. The Starr County Sheriff should know who it is. The one that's helping the cartel. And it's going out. Well, see, the whole thing with they get my case thrown out. Nothing happens to me. Where they said they're trying to get my whole case thrown out as fraud, lies, and nothing credible. What happens? Nothing. I just don't get paid. I haven't got paid anyways. But what else happens? The cartel walks. For you had no right around me then. It was fraud. Where they said this last month, why are they calling Agent John a coward? They want him found not credible either in this whole case of fraud in the cartel walks. So everyone you got off at any bit of surveillance could never be used. They all walk. And guess what? Where they said they're going to sue the government for millions of dollars, an endless amount, it's going to be the cartel suing them. That guy works for the cartel. You need to take care of him and arrest him for obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, tampering with a witness, aiding and abetting crimes, and interfering in an FBI case. You better get a backbone, mister. You already have him nailed with a recorded line that they were in your office confessing they were trying to have me killed. That I never lied. And then everything else is under police surveillance, like the police that told people. We always know Karen never lied to us. And then she could never lie to us when the case started because we have it under police surveillance. Wouldn't do it anyways. Better stand up for your case or what's gonna happen? They want you arrested off this. They want to sue the FBI for millions of dollars for false arrest and compensation. That's what they're going to do. And that's what they're planning. Because they can't do anything to me. Only thing it would do is I wouldn't get paid for all the work. I didn't get paid anyways. See, it don't affect me either way. Where people yesterday, when they found out that where they were saying they were trying to steal for Melissa, why would you steal for a liar and a rich liar? And when they found out they could never attach informant money, you cannot attach it. It's for people in immunity. Only ones that can attach it is if you get an attorney to get it for you, they can get their compensation. But that's it for doing your legal work. Nothing else. Because you're in immunity from the government. See, they can't touch me. The only thing they can do is get the cartel released, sue the government for illegal arresting them, illegal monitoring them, and getting them off of fraud, and then they're going to go after you for opening a fraud case. You know, they even told people that you opened the case just to make fun of me for making fun of a rape victim, that you're that kind of cat. Better stand up for your informant in your case. You need to find out who was in the Tuscaroras courthouse September 10th, 25, lying to that judge that was over the restraining order on the hallway. That office was down here, said they paid thousands of dollars for surveillance. They couldn't find one thing what's going on. Well, they did walk around blind because they were all over me. I could get a hold of people in Bay Family Church. They all seen him. You know, some other guy said they got a hold of Officer John. Where Officer John got Michelle and took him back on March 27th, 25. That the doctor from before was never one of mine. He works for them and they had lied. And she actually don't know who he is. And that they had tried to kill me when they bashed in my head and it didn't work. Or leave me incompetent. And he got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so she could get free insurance. He gave her extra money and my dad to give him a job at this factory. And he even got it out of Vegas. When they asked him, why did you wait 6 months? I mean, how did he put it? Why did you say it offended you when Strange didn't say call her a faker for 6 months after that traffic accident she had nothing to do with? They said it didn't even concern them. Had nothing to do with them. They just lied so people would help out. Some guy was outside. They said they got a hold of Officer John. He did get that out of all of them. It is what's going on. See, the Vegas even bragged. It didn't concern them. You got to think, somebody dies in January. Somebody calls somebody a faker in July. Does it have anything to do with what happened in January? No, it's not even connected. Nor from May to November. Still 6 months. Had nothing to do with it. And it took me 9 months to get well. And see, that's one thing. Being an FBI agent, you can see my medical records. You see it in 2002. It's wrote up where I had medical malpractice and medical fraud, negligence, where I had a bunch of surgeries, muscles locked up, bunch of crackpots. It's documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. It's medicine causing it. Redocumented every year after that. This fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors even encouraged to sue them. That they had almost killed me, and it looked like about 9 months before she got well. There's also reported insurance fraud of some other woman using her insurance. You seen all that? What else you see? That Phil was driving the car when Tyler was killed. He was speeding, ran a stop sign in a semi, and it was his fault, and they killed their kid. Her father killed her kid. And Karen wasn't even there. Looks like she got off the fentanyl patches a couple months later. Then documented she was well. And she was really sick a year before that. And they documented as fraud in the medication doing it. It was fraud and medical malpractice. Then redocumented by other doctors over years as fraud, medical malpractice, medication errors, and negligence, and encouraged to sue those doctors for almost killing her. And they wrote up that they were just ripping me off. And then proving when I got well. So you've seen all that. They weren't fooling you one bit. Right? And when the bastards walked in and confessed, after I called the hotline, they were trying to kill me and trying to justify it. You made sure in that recorded line, you had all keynotes that they were in your office. They confessed. She never lied. Made fun of me for that guy Pete and a dirty doctor scam. How I didn't know. Made sure you knew. And it was documented that I didn't know anything. Never caught Dave with a girlfriend. Never reported the threats and attempt on my life to any law enforcement but you. So there'd be no one with the legal right to be in my home. You made sure with that whole crazy statement, you still hit the key points that keep your case intact. For threat and attempt to life case for an FBI informant with statements, money, and immunity. I would like my money because I do need to get Carl out of where we're living. It's not funny, the hysteria of where people will do with it for the thought of money. His thieving stepchildren and making up $1 million lie. He don't have $1 million. He doesn't even have a lot of money. He has like $6,000. Where the oil companies put oil rigs around or oil wells around his property, not on it, around it. And they had to put a pipeline through part of it. So we got 160 and 140 grand. 3 years ago, had to pay $100,000 in taxes. I got checks of over 60 grand they took. I witnessed them taking 6 grand from him. So where he said they bullied him out another 50, I bet they did. He told me and told everyone that they demanded $1,000 each for each one in their family. And all kinds of cell phones and electronics. for him to buy, and he spent over $10,000 to $20,000 on Christmases for 2 years. He told him all the big money was gone over a year ago. And then we had to pay for Brenda's funeral. Headstone. He had to get some false teeth. And they took the rest. He had bought a vehicle, and then there was so much wrong with it, he traded it back in for half the amount that he paid for it. Lost money on it. See, that's where the whole thing of it is. They thought he got 300 grand all the time. It's a one-time settlement. And then everyone gets little compensation checks on mineral rights for miles around. That's all there is to it. You get the one-time settlement. Them small mineral rights. That's where they made up the $1 million lie that he has millions of dollars. He has 6 grand. It's the biggest joke in the world. And then that property, they have so many acres, it's worth money because there's so many acres, and they want that land. Everything's greed and money. And that dirty judge, admitted they beat Carl before, tried to make an excuse they were teenagers. And Carl's like, liar, it was only like 10 years ago. Told him he was scared for his life. He didn't want him around. They took all his money and they bully him for it. It's the only time they show up. They don't come over and see him. And they do this little helpless orphan thing. And they had a real father that was still alive when Carl married Brenda. Just been divorced from him for 6 months. Was still very much alive. And in their life. It's all a con. That's all they are. It's con men. They think he has money. That's it. They just want to rob him. They didn't come see him. They didn't buy him Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. They have him over for dinner. No. They only had him over when they wanted money. Only came around when they wanted money. And if they didn't get it, they would bully him until they got it because they're bigger. And he don't want that in his life anymore. And there's no more money, and nor are they getting it. And that dirty judge letting that circus show go in there, I am reporting her to the state. They have her under surveillance in the hallway, saying there's people from an office down here saying they paid thousands of dollars trying to find surveillance, find anything going on. They came down and lied to you, idiot. You were to have them arrested for saying that about an FBI informant. And interfering and obstructing justice. And she's nothing but a liar, and the biggest liar, and nothing's credible, and everyone wants to get even with her. Law enforcement cannot get even with people. That's a federal crime. And the only way you wouldn't see anybody is to walk around with a blindfold on. He went down there and lied, and how stupid were they? How stupid was that judge saying that in a hallway in a courthouse? Where yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, on Walmart West House. It's not funny, that office. They're the ones telling people they're Portage County sheriffs. No, it's not. Other ones, they were saying up in Portage County, there are a lot of drug people. And we looked it on her Facebook. It says, it's pharmaceutical torture. It is. It's 20 years. No coerced confession is admissible. Where they told that agent they had sodium pentothal reports and they were drugging me to get the truth out of me. Where they were drugging me with hypnotic drugs and telling me to say stuff. He knew they were framing me. He knew. He could tell that photoshopped showering, the so-called tape of Weird with Yourself, he knew it was photoshopped. That's why he's laughing. That's what the cop said. Couldn't believe you were trying this with him. Better stand up for what's right, Agent John. Or thousands will walk on a technicality, and then they will sue the government. You need to address that. It's supposed to be somebody in the prosecutor's office in Massillon, the way they talked about him in 18 and 19. And they're aiding and abetting the cartel. and helping the cartel get away with murder here. They talked about him for years. I mentioned him again yesterday. That one guy in a prosecutor's office, Maslin, that's what they talked about, Maslin. Thought he could go rogue and go after anybody he wanted. He can't. He told everybody else to stay out of it. He can't interfere in a federal investigation. He can't assault an FBI informant. It's a federal crime. You go to jail for like 20 years. Aiding and abetting crimes. He can't help people get away with crimes either. And he can't go around doing any of this. You need to arrest him. I don't love this.